Welcome back, everyone. We are two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That's Lewis.
Hello.
I was waiting to see how this was going to go because I thought it could have, been a sup, maybe something totally different, but we went to traditional. That's a good thing.
Keeping you
Um,
guessing.
yeah, it's always a good thing. So we're going to talk about, something that was very prominent in the 80s, and that's going to be 80s ballads. Yes, in the 80s, we knew how to love, we knew about loss, we knew about longing, right? We knew about that stuff, and we wrote about it tons. For those of you that really are looking for the hard rock, heavy metal ballads, because there's so many ballads to choose from, we decided to make that its own separate category. So we're going to do that at a later date. So we kind of excluded those. So don't worry, those are going to be coming in the future. But we're going to just focus more on the rock ballads, soul, whatever struck a chord with us. So Lou, if you don't mind, I want to go ahead and start us off because in my opinion, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's one of those ballads that, in my opinion, it kind of was the blueprint for a lot of the ballads in the 80s. And I'm going to start with 1980s Aryo Speedwagon, Keep on Loving You.
Nice.
In my book, that was the one that everybody tried to copy. It's still a great song. Went to number one. Before that, REO Speedwagon didn't even have a top 50 hit. Came out in 1980. And yeah, it's still a great song to this day. I think I place a lot of importance on it because I think that kind of set the standard for what the ballad was in the 80s, and so many people kind of copied that format with the slow intro, big choruses, great guitar solo. Any fond memories of Keep on Loving You?
Uh, of that entire album, High Infidelity. It's a great album, and it's got 3 or 4 real standout hits in it, and that's definitely one of them. Yeah, love that album, love that song. Good choice.
Thank you. The thing about this is when we do these, we don't discuss what we're going to talk about. So it's always interesting to see if we ever come across the same songs. But I think today, if I missed on that one, I think we're good. I think we're safe. So, what's your first choice?
I think I'm going to go with "Listen to Your Heart" by Roxette. And just a really cool tune. I can't explain why I like it. The songwriting is very sort of standard. Nothing really stand out about it, but it's just the feeling that I get when I listen to it. Great tune. I really like it.
That is a really good song. I didn't even think about that one. I didn't think about Roxette. So, all right, good one. I'm gonna go with the all girl group for my second choice, and that's the Bangles with Eternal Flame.
Nice.
Song came out, I believe it was 1988. It did go to number one. I always loved the song. It was, one of those songs that I always enjoyed, but kind of what took it to another level for me. About 5 years ago, they performed several nights at the Whiskey A Go Go, and my wife and I went and saw them, and they performed this, and it was just one of those really magical numbers. It's like, you just got chills because they asked the audience to be really quiet. You could hear a pin drop, and there's very little amplification on their instruments, their voices, and they performed it acoustically and just blew me away. So yeah, I'd have to go with that as one of my choices for my favorite ballads of the 80s and go with the Bangles Eternal Flame.
That's an excellent choice. Susanna Hoffs does an amazing job singing that song. And I like the Bangles a lot. There's a lot of other tunes that they do. I'm trying to think of the name of the cover. Hazy Shades of Winter.
Shade of Winter, yeah.
Yeah, not a ballad, but love that tune. Great song, great cover. And yeah, so excellent choice. Excellent choice.
Yeah, that it was, the thing was after all these years too, and they sang it so well. Susanna Hoff still kills it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we saw them together at that 80s
Concert with Boy
fest.
George, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Where we met Richard Blade and Forever Upset to Your Significant Other. Yeah, I remember that.
I gave her the book going, "Here, honey, look, I had him sign it for you." She's like, "You met him?" You don't even know who he is. You should I should have met him. She was upset. It was pretty funny actually.
Yeah, I think for us, we didn't realize the significance of Richard Blade because I remember, we were at a Spasmatics show at Universal City Walk, and I was wearing some UFC or Pride Fighting shirt, and this guy, this British guy comes up to me and goes, "Love your shirt." And we started talking about MMA and stuff like that. And my wife goes, "You know who that is?" I said, "Yeah, some British guy. Why?" He goes, "No, it's Richard Blade." I'm like, "Okay, and that's who?" I had no clue who he was, but yeah, great show, good book, and the Bangles are still killing it.
Very funny. Yeah, yeah. Bengals, awesome, awesome. Again, great selection. The next one that I'm going to go with is by Chicago. It's
Wow.
sort of one of their comeback songs because I guess they were dead there for a little bit or dying, but they came back in the '80s, and the tune I'm going to call out is "Hard to Say I'm Sorry." It was written by Peter Cetera and this gentleman that a lot of people don't know about named David Foster. He's got uh, tons and tons and tons of songs to his credit. Like he wrote for Whitney Houston and lots of people. It's got a great documentary. It's called Off the Record. If you're a music lover, I highly recommend checking it out. It's about David Foster and just the hand that he had in so many hits. It's incredible. But I really love that song, "Hard to Say I'm Sorry." And what's really interesting about it is that on the radio version, they sort of cut it off at I'd say maybe 2/3 into it. There's a second part to it that a lot of people don't know about unless you actually have the album. That they sort of the beat picks up and they sort of rock out, lots of horns and stuff. Very interesting as well.
I actually saw Peter Cetera. It was kind of unfortunate. I was supposed to see him twice. The first time I forgot what happened. I think I had to work and I couldn't get out of it. So my wife took her sister. And then we saw, and I asked her, I said, we had seen Lionel Richie around the same time. Said, who did you prefer, Lionel Richie or Peter Cetera? And she said, Peter Cetera. She said, he was fantastic. So we did end up going see him like a couple of years later in Thousand Oaks. Great performance, tons of hits. Of course, he performed that song, and sadly, I don't think he's retired from performing. So he's done. So I'm
Wow.
happy to see him at least once, and it was a great performance. But and then I saw, what was it? I think I saw Chicago with Aryo Speedwagon. Chicago is headlining, and I didn't realize it. There was nothing in the advertising about it, but they basically played one of their albums all the way through. And I think it was like a double record or something. And I didn't know, I hardly knew any of the songs. And it's like, where are the 80s hits? And I think they finally played one of them, and it wasn't Hard to Say I'm Sorry. So it was kind of a disappointment for me. I'm sure the Chicago fans would have loved it, but yeah, not for me. But great choice, and again, one I didn't think of. Um, we might hit on this one. I don't know. So this song went to number 5 in 1984. In my opinion, the greatest female rocker of all time, and that would be Pat Benatar with "We Belong."
Nice.
I've always loved that song. I've seen her in concert numerous times. She always kills it. The last time I saw her was a few months back, and again, she played a stripped down version of it, which is unusual. She usually plays it, very true to the record, but she played it acoustically, and I recorded it, sent it to you, and it was just phenomenal. So it took it to a whole different level. But yeah, one of my all-time favorite ballads, and her voice just is incredible on that song. So "We Belong," Pat Benatar.
Again, an excellent choice. And yeah, I remember when you sent that the acoustic version to me of the recording that you had seen, and I literally got chills because it was just it gave it such a different feel, a different dimension to it, and very cool tune. And her voice is just stood the test of time. She's still amazing.
Yeah, I mean, her story is, she was an opera singer, and then went into rock and roll, and of course, all the adversity she faced being a female in a male-dominated industry. But she rocks with the best of them. Seen her a God, like probably 7 or 8 times, and just never disappoints.
Very cool. Excellent choice. The next one that I'm going to go with is by a band called Foreigner. I Want to Know What Love Is. And I've always loved that song. Always. There's just something about the feel of it. And in the beginning, there's this part where the keyboards sort of swell and then it stabs and then they sort of go slowly down and back into the background. Just powerful, powerful song. And then, you know, you got the gospel singers in the background doing the chorus or helping with the chorus. Great song, great song. I've always enjoyed that song. It just gives me a really awesome feeling inside.
You know, it's kind of strange for me. That was one of those songs that didn't really resonate with me when it came out. It kind of seemed like overdone, and I thought it was they're a little bit pandering to try and get the most attention possible, or you know, the most audience possible. But it's definitely grown over me, you know, grown on me over the years. And you know, again, really good choice, and didn't once come into my mind. And I've been fortunate. I've seen Foreigner perform it. You know, this newest incarnation of Foreigner, and I was able to see Lou Gramm perform it several years back at a free concert. I mean, talk about a great deal, free to see Lou Gramm and Survivor.
Wow.
But he did perform that song, and it was excellent. So, yeah, I good call on that one too. And I'm surprised we're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna hit on the next two, I promise, at least on mine. Mine, this song was from a movie. I've never seen this movie. And it did go to number one in 1983, and it's one of my all-time favorite ballads, and that's Phil Collins with Against All Odds.
Nice.
I remember hearing that song and just being amazed by it. You know, for a while after it came out, I think it was only available on the soundtrack. And I remember my cousin bought the soundtrack, recorded that song for me, and I just listened to it over and over. I've been fortunate enough to see Phil Collins perform in his heyday. He was amazing. Saw him a couple years back. And unfortunately for me, he started off the concert with this song, with Against All Odds, which I thought was a very odd choice. And, you know, I don't think his voice was warmed up enough, so it lacked something, but still a really good performance. But yeah, it's one of those songs I could listen to on a loop all day.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. And I did think about that one because it
Really?
is a really, yeah, I did think about that one. So I was going through my head thinking, okay, movies that have featured, you know, 80s ballads. And that was one that came up. I think it's a super well written song, a lot of interesting chord changes in it. And yeah, very cool tune. I'm not a huge Phil Collins fan, not to say that he's not talented, because he is hugely talented.
You're kind of turning into him.
um,
You got the appearance, you got the drums, you know, you got the tie, the similar
may,
haircut.
maybe a cross between him and Joe Satriani. I can't really tell,
All
but
right.
yeah, a really great choice. That's one of my favorite songs of his.
Yeah, I would say it is my favorite. I love that song. One of
Excellent.
these days I'll see the movie.
I actually saw the movie. They filmed part of it apparently here in Pacifica on Highway 1. So yeah, I guess there's a scene where they're like racing cars up into the mountains, and that was here on Highway 1 coming up on out of Pacifica towards where I live.
Wow, strange. For some reason, I don't know. I think just based upon the poster, I assumed it was like some, you know, tropical island, and that's where the whole thing took place. But again, I never saw it, so.
Yeah, it's just one scene, I think, because yeah, there's a lot of it. I think that was maybe in Mexico, or it looked like it was in Mexico, and the pyramids or whatnot. So the next one I'm going to go with is very obscure. You may not even remember it. It's by a gentleman who's Portuguese. His name is Glenn Medeiros, and the song is called "Nothing's Gonna Change My Love for You." And he was almost a one-hit wonder. I want to say that he came out with a second hit towards the end of the 80s that would make him not be a one-hit wonder. But again, a very cool tune. It was pretty early 80s when it came out. And Yeah, it's a catchy tune, very very sickly sweet and whatnot, very puppy love-ish, and I like it. I like the song.
Well, I'll have to check it out. I honestly, yeah, I don't remember that song at all, but something to look forward to, and I will definitely give it a listen. Again, I'm on my last pick, and I'm already thinking we need to do a sequel on this. We already said we do the hard rock, heavy metal. I have such a huge list, and I feel guilty about some of the stuff that I've left out, but here goes. Everyone knows how much I love this woman. I've loved her since she came out. I continue to love her. Seen her in concert a bunch of times, and this is one of my all-time favorite songs as well, especially for a ballad, and it's Taylor Dane with "I'll Always Love You." I
Nice.
want to say it went to number 3 in 1988, but I was having a hard time, as you often do, with the choice between that, "I'll Always Love You," and "Love Will Lead You Back." And then I realized "Love Will Lead You Back" actually came out in 1990.
Oh wow.
So it was that was a really tough choice. So, the year definitely made the difference. And "I'll Always Love You," Taylor Dane, and "I'll Always Love Her." So we'll go with that one.
Very good choice as well. She's got a super powerful voice, and apparently she's friends with the actress that plays the wife of the gentleman on King of Queens. And I remember that they were doing some documentary where it was going to be like a comeback for Taylor Dane, and um, the Taylor Dane was playing some samples of what she had recorded for this, the actress from King of Queens, and the actress was just saying, "Oh, this is crap. This is not, this is not you." It was actually very rockish. It was a trip. It was not the typical thing that you hear Taylor Dane put out, and I never heard anything about it ever since. So, but it's sort of neat to find out that they were close friends.
Yeah, I actually met her one time, and she was very cool. And she's still going, and she's still performing, and she's still got a great voice. My buddy Darren, his buddy Delius who's one of the singers in All for One, for a while was doing the show at a local bar, and he had Taylor Dane there, and she performed, and he interviewed her, and to this day I'm still mad at Darren about not telling me about it. He's like, "I had no idea you like Taylor Dane." I said, "No, I love Taylor Dane." So I
Oh,
was really bummed by that. He did make it up a little bit, because a couple months later we went and saw the show and got to meet Karen White, who I really enjoyed. But yeah, I told him, if Taylor Dane ever comes back, I need to know. So
that's a bummer, man. That would have been awesome.
yeah, well, wasn't to be.
All right, so the last one that I've got was a song that I actually had never heard of in the 80s. And I heard it in a movie called, I think it was Can't Hardly Wait. And so it's fronted by Vince Clarke, who was in Depeche Mode and also Erasure, and went on to this band that I'm going to mention called Yaz or Yazoo. It depends on, I guess, if you're in Europe or not, what they were called. And the song is called Only You. I love that song. And again, I'd never heard of it in the 80s. I heard it in that movie, and it's like, oh man, this is a great, great tune. And just very simple keyboard lines, but it just hits you, man. At least it does for me.
That's a great choice, and you are right about the movie. It was Can't Hardly Wait. It was played at the end when Jennifer Love Hewitt meets up with the love interest or whatever, the guy that was pining for her the whole time. And yeah, it's a great song. Again, one of those ones I didn't think of, but excellent choice. Recommend that one highly. I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised. We had no mention of Journey. We
I
had
thought
no,
about them.
I know, Sticks. And probably the biggest shocker for me, especially considering it was 80s, Lionel Richie.
Oh yeah.
Uncle Lionel, he talked to us about love. He explained it all. And we didn't include him in this. And I feel bad about that. But we still love you, Uncle Lionel. We do. You taught us about love. We won't forget you for that.
Yeah, he also taught us about dancing on the ceiling. I don't know what kind of drugs that he was doing.
I, I don't know, but hey, I've seen him perform many times as well, and he's a great performer, and he has so many great ballads. I was toying with that and which one I would put in, but they're all about equal for me. And yeah, something had to go. But yeah, I'm really surprised we didn't get a Journey song, we didn't get a Styx song, and we didn't get Lionel Richie. So
I thought hard about Journey. I thought, yeah, everybody's aware of the Journey stuff. I mean, Open Arms. There's just so many of them, right? So I decided not to go there. I decided to probably be a little more obscure, but I thought about it.
and you succeeded. They were on my list. There was quite a few that were on my list that didn't make the cut. Well, that's why we do sequels, right?
There you go.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed us reminiscing about our 80s ballads. Like I said, we'll be doing the hard rock, heavy metal ones in the future because the hard rockers knew how to love as well, So, Lou,
Yes,
before
they
we
did.
sign off, anything you want to add? Great tie, by the way. And I noticed the Peachy in the background.
Yes. This is from high school, vintage 1983.
And you're sniffing it. Why?
Because I'm telling you the vintage of it. I wouldn't
Okay.
be able to tell you the vintage of it unless I sniffed it. So yeah, this was from my art class, and this, boys and girls, is what us kids in high school used to have in the 80s, and we would put all of our stuff in it, and it was just standard. I don't know why, but everybody had these, and
That was
yeah.
our computer. That was our filing system. So hey, what are you gonna
Absolutely. And our computer, actually, I think on the inside it's got the times tables on it. If I'm not, yeah, right here it's got the times tables on it. So you're right.
Perfect.
Computer as well.
All right. Well, hey, that's gonna do it for this episode. We appreciate you guys as always watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let us know what ballads we missed and put them in the comments, and hopefully we'll hit them next time. Lou, sign us off. Sign us off, brother.
Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.